Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Man, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about My Dress Up Darling chapter 101. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? In all honesty, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic. And one of the main reasons why I thought it was so great is because I felt personally that this week's chapter was the culmination of the entire Haniel arc up to this point. Not necessarily the conclusion, but I would say the biggest payoff of this arc to this point, because there was a lot of things that went down in this entire arc, and there was a lot of setup, and I feel like this week's chapter really paid off in that big. It was a huge payoff in everything that had been developing and building up to this point, and I thought that the way that the chapter ended was fantastic, as well as it sets up what's to come in the future. So once again, Fukuda absolutely killing it with this week's chapter. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Dress Up Darling content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, one final thing before we get into this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, because my last chapter review managed to get 30,000 views from you guys. And anybody that's watching this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I also gained like 200 subscribers within a month, which was insane. So if you are a brand new subscriber or a brand new, person that watches this video, a new viewer, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I hope that you guys stay to the end and continue to watch my videos going forward. So once again, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Really means a lot. So just wanted to say that you guys are the best. I love y'all. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter picks up where pretty much we left off last time, which is pretty much we see the manga author, like where the chapter ended. And last time we see pretty much he's talking to his editor, and I believe that they're having a conversation, and they're talking about pretty much Marin when she was cosplaying as Haniel, and they're talking about like, whoa, this chick is like insane, like who is she? And that seems to be like the main component of this week's chapter, pretty much trying to track down like who is Marin, and like them speculating and like pretty much just fanboying over Marin, just like us. And it makes sense. I mean, we saw how everybody was pretty much like hypnotized by her when she was Haniel, and these people are no exception. They're 100% glued to her, and they're just so fascinated on who is this fellow cosplayer, like who is she, because nobody knows like her social media, and they're like, what, there's no way, and nobody could do that. And then they start talking about like maybe it could be somebody under the handle of Princess, because everybody kept calling her Princess. And then I believe it was the mangaka, he was like, well, what are you talking about, bro? Like there's so many like people under the name Princess, it's so hard to track down exactly which cosplayer it would be. And then while all that is happening, we get a little gag, a little funny joke, because we see the editor. He was like, yeah, I even saw this super hot chick like on social media. I saw this super hot chick, and I try to like recruit her for like our idol group, for photos and whatnot. It ended up turning out to be a guy. And then we see in the screenshot it's pretty much Amane. So I thought that was hilarious. I still love the fact that everybody gets fooled by Amane. That goes to show that my man Amane is slain. My man Amane is best boy, and he's absolutely killing it. Okay, so that's hilarious. Like that canonically, that just, it's so funny that everybody gets shocked. I would be shocked too, man. I'm no cap. I would be 100% shocked if I saw Amane in front of me. I would be like, yeah, like that's a chick. So good job, Amane. You're doing a great job. Just keep at it. But continuing on, we pretty much see that after that they're still talking about Marin, and then you see pretty much that the guy, the manga guy, he's like talking about like like all these people keep praising her, like this Haniel cosplay, and I can see why, because you could tell that there's passion. And while all that is happening, he starts thinking about all the pretty much the projects that Shiba, the author of Heaven Mandate, the guy that created Haniel, how he hated all this like the adaptations of his own work, because he felt like nobody, and he finally figured it out. He's like, the reason he hated all those projects is because nobody, like the people associated with it, had no passion for his project. And unlike Marin, that's why he can see it for himself. It's like, I can see why this is a different level of care and detail, because somebody really gave it's their all, and there was passion behind it. So once again, this praising Gojo and Marin's team dynamic, because Gojo, yeah, he definitely made the cosplay, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park, but he also needed somebody to wear it and pull it off, and that was Marin. And Marin was able to act the part, and 100% encapsulate everybody with her looks, and pretty much take on the Haniel persona. So I thought that was really, really great, and once again sets up like how good of a cosplayer Marin is, because as last week's chapter we saw that she might be going pro. Now we don't really get an update on that, but it's something to think in the back of our minds, like that might be a possibility. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's a possibility to keep in our minds for the time being. Now after that, pretty much the mangaka and the editor stop talking, and like he eventually he starts thinking about like, okay, I know somebody to call right now at this moment in time. And who does he call? He calls Shiba himself, the author, the guy that created Haniel. And they have a conversation, and he's like, hey, I don't know if you've been like looking at everybody, but like, did you see this cosplayer that pretended to be Haniel, like this cosplaying as Haniel? And he's like, man, what should I care? Like, and he's like, no, you have to look at her, bro. Trust me, she's great. And he's like, yeah, you always say that, but like, I'm so fed up with like just being the grumpy old man that doesn't like anything being adapted of his works. Like, I ain't got nothing. I'm burned out. Like, I don't really care anymore. Like, and he's like, come on, give it a shot. And the guy's like, I mean, what? Do you think I'm gonna kneel? You think because like way that the other mangaka, the guy that calls him, he's like pretty much saying like, you're gonna kneel to your own creation. He's like, you really think I'm kneel to my own creation? You're insane. Like, there's no way, there's no shot or reality that this would ever happen. So he's like, fooling himself in that regard. He's like, I'm gonna, like, it's not even gonna phase me. And then we see this beautiful illustration of Fukuda of him pretty much looking at the Marin picture of the Haniel. And I love the way that Fukuda demonstrated this panel where you see like pretty much the Haniel Marin kind of like taking over, or like kind of like hypnotizing Shiba, and Shiba's like unfazed by it. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like and my man had like the greatest poker face because he wasn't flinching at all. He was just like, yeah, it was whatever. But then what happens in the next panel, we see that he pretty much takes it to his social media, and all we see is a simple sentence by him, and he's like, or not even a simple sentence, like a quote. He just says, well done, and he retweets it or something. So this was a huge payoff, because we had known for this the entirety of the arc that the main thing that Gojo and Marin would try to do is like live up to the hype, like pretty much give a piece of art that is high enough of standards for the Shiba guy. And it seems like he liked it. I mean, he's trying to like play face and like, oh, it's all right, it's well done. Like, no, I'm sure inside of his psyche, he's like thinking to himself like, yeah, this is fantastic. It's like a 10 out of 10, but he's trying to like play cool. He's trying to be like, oh, I don't know. But it was really great to finally see that all their hard work paid off, because you see that pretty much he said well done, and that's something that he had never done for any of his adaptations. So once again, proving that Gojo and Marin, their team dynamic is a S tier plus. Like, pretty much they're the best, like when it comes to their team dynamic, as well as Gojo's workmanship as a cosplayer, like a stylist slash sewing person, I don't know what they call but the guy that makes the cosplaying outfits, like he's 100% like he is a goat to put it simplest terms, because even the author, he praised it, and somebody that doesn't praise anybody like that. So that's a really, really good payoff. But what wasn't great to see, which broke my heart, was pretty much seeing Gojo at the end of the chapter. We catch up with him on what he's been doing, and we see that he's just laying in his bed, like doing the Jamcha pose. Fukuda, why did you have to do him dirty? He's like to the side, he's crawling, and it makes sense. I mean, he's depressed, he's very sad, because all these emotions are piling up on him, and it seems like everything's about to like explode, or has exploded already, and he doesn't know how to process these things. So we pretty much see at the end of the chapter, Gojo, laying to the side, depressed, and that's how the chapter ends. So a lot of great big moments happen in this week's chapter, and also I'm sure that in the next chapter we're gonna catch up in Gojo's point of view and what is his emotions currently at the moment, as well as what he might have been thinking maybe perhaps during the comic festival. So a lot of things to look forward to, and I cannot wait, because I think that Fukuda has absolutely knocked this like entire arc out of the way. Like, this arc has been just spectacular. I would argue it might be the best arc in the story up to this point. I know it sounds crazy, but I really genuinely believe that. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more My Dress Up Darling, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.